Hello, my fellow Disney fan, and welcome to Disney Travel Secrets. Rob and Kerri Stuart here, coming to you from the Creating Magic Vacation Studio in beautiful but very rainy right now, Windermere, Florida. You're listening to episode number 390, original air date August 5th, 2024.
And for some of you, it's back to school time. So make sure you have a vacation on the books that you're looking forward to because, you know, that's really going to help you get your mind off of school when you get started.
Also on this, and I will probably say all future episodes, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we will be doing what we call show and tell.
I think you love show and tell.
I do.
And what are we showing this week?
We will tell you in just a few minutes.
Oh, I see how that goes. Okay, but our main topic this week is the new Lightning Lane system. And should you get it and how does it work?
The answers are coming up, including one crucial step that we know will mess up a lot of people.
Yeah, it will. Take it away, Hugh.
Hello, my friends. This is former Disney Imagineer Hugh Darley, and you're listening to Disney Travel Secrets with my friends Rob and Kerri Stuart. As you can imagine, I have plenty of Disney secrets myself, and I can't wait to share them with you. Let's get this show on the road. Take it away, guys.
Hey there, my friend. We have some breaking news. We have finally closed on our new house.
Yes, and we have been living in this house, though, for 6 months, and that was our strategy, just like renting the first 2 years here in Orlando from our other house that was just a few minutes away.
I mean, really get to know the area, make sure we chose the right place, and spoiler alert, we did.
Yeah, so as of July 31st, we are now finally the proud new homeowners of this beautiful house in Keens Point, Windermere, Florida.
And one of the things we're going to do for any of you that think you may want to move down to this area is we're going to give you our complete guide to exactly what we did and who we worked with to make this project happen.
So this is our free report called Moving by Disney. Every single thing you need to know from all of our partners that helped make this project. And there were a lot.
I'm telling you that we did not know how many people we needed to make this happen. And it was a privilege to work with them. And we can't wait to share who they are with you.
Yeah, so you definitely will want to go to the show notes and look at the movingbydisney.com to request that free report.
So without further ado, because I think sometimes we have too much ado, if you are so inclined, please raise a glass with us, only if you are not driving.
I am very serious about this.
That was loud.
Thank you for sharing this amazing moment with us. And now back to the show.
Cheers. We want to say a special hello to our friends over at Fleet Transportation, a preferred partner of the show.
Yeah, so we used them when we cruised on Utopia of the Seas last month out of Port Canaveral. And it was an amazing experience.
It was, well, because they picked us up in a shiny black Ford Expedition, and we just relaxed all the way to the port. We did make a few calls, but very relaxing.
Yeah, and what I loved about it, that there was no parking anxiety on this trip, which was awesome.
So to learn more, go to fleetfl.net. We also have a link and their phone number in the comments.
And make sure that you tell them Rob and Kerri sent you.
Yes.
For sure.
Tell Sam that Rob and Kerri sent you.
Yeah. So we have what we're calling a good news hotline this week.
I know some of you know that we just got back from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just a week or two ago, and it was for a very special event.
Yeah, so our friend Steve Lynch, the founder of the rock group Autograph, invited us to join him as one of his guitars and one from the late bass player, Randy Rand, also in his band, were put on permanent display in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, how cool is that?
This was a very special event for both Kerri and I because we've been friends with Steve Lynch for years, and we were his photographers and videographers on some of the concerts that he was doing. And he said, hey, one of my guitars and one of Randy's basses is going to be put into display at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Do you and Kerri want to come join us? I'm like, yes.
Yeah, so it was a really, really cool experience. And there was a little extra thing that happened while we were there.
And this is something that we didn't know because we had the VIP badges. Everybody was looking at Steve because at 69, he still looks like a rock star again. He's from Autograph. And we're walking through the hall, and the guides take us down to where the display is. And he's doing this speech. And all of a sudden, I'm glad I had my camera on, because you'll see this in a second. I'm so glad I had my camera running, because he proposed to his now fiancee Suzanne right in front of us, and then we all celebrated the rest of the day and into the night.
So you may hear a little thunder and lightning during this show because we are recording when there is a torrential downpour.
Yes.
And it's August here in Florida, so that is to be expected, right?
Absolutely. So again, congratulations to Steve Lynch and his fiancee, Suzanne. We look forward to maybe helping you plan your destination wedding.
Yeah. So that's a little bit. I mean, Rob loves the 80s rock. If you've listened to us for any time, you know why this is important to him.
Everybody knows that. So moving on. So have you heard about the CMV Heroes Project? It's something we just launched last month that benefits Folds of Honor. And here is an update.
We are so excited about this because we are putting together several group cruises that will benefit Folds of Honor. And so we have already picked out a few in 2025. Make sure you're getting our emails because we want all of you to be invited. And we may do some on Weekends on the Wish, but right now we do have some pulled for Utopia of the Seas. And I'm super excited about it. So we will continue to tell you more about that. We love supporting our military.
So last week, Disney showed us a few sneak peeks into the new ship, the Disney Destiny. And that is their new ship that they're bringing on after the Treasure. And I got to say, we're recording this on July 30th. So we've only seen the first day of the 3-day reveal. And to me, it was just a bit underwhelming.
Well, we still have 2 more days.
Right.
And
I'm just saying the first day,
it was only like less than 3-minute video. And they did highlight that this ship is going to be all about heroes and villains. And it started out with a special dining experience featuring the Lion King. So nothing really about the ship. They did talk a little bit about the rooms on more of like the press release. So one of the restaurants is going to be Lion King themed and one will be Incredibles, but we will continue to keep you posted. I know a lot of people are really excited about this ship. It's the same class as the Wish and the Treasure.
And the Treasure. I'm so excited for the Treasure. Just recently, it was Kerri's birthday Palooza week, and we had a blast. Again, starting with the trip to Cleveland. And then on that Friday, we went over to Disney Springs.
Yeah, and okay, so I had been looking for a very specific coach purse. And if you've listened to our show from the last couple of episodes ago where we talked about ways to save, one of our ways was don't go into the stores. You are going to find something that you want to purchase. You will spend money. So the first time we went was when our niece Kylie was down here. And that was a couple of months ago. And I took a picture of it and I said, well, maybe I will go back. Unfortunately, we called the store and they said that it was gone. And if you've listened, then you know what I've called this purse.
It is. And this is also the show and tell part. So hopefully you guys are watching this on YouTube. And if you're listening on whatever you listen to podcasts, please subscribe to our YouTube channel because weekly we're going to show you stuff. You may have noticed that we repositioned a couple things back there. We're showing Marty's book next to ours. So please follow us over on YouTube. So I called the Coach store and I said, do you have a chunky chain purse? And the manager, he actually texted me a few pictures because someone didn't show me which one it was. But that's how good their customer service is. It is simply incredible.
Yeah, but what I love though is you actually thought the name of the purse was Chunky Chain.
Okay,
That was what I called it, but I was just like, hey babe, I have a picture of it. So I sent it to you. And then you reach out to the store and they said, we don't have this one anymore on the floor. We can't find it. And so I was about to buy it on the Coach website.
You were milliseconds away.
I was. And then you yelled from the other room and said, don't buy it yet.
Well, because the manager was, again, texting me. Again, the service was amazing. And he said, I found one in the back room. And you wanted to get it that day.
Well, now I had it in my head. And so I was super excited about it. And I was like, well, I'm going to pay for the expedited shipping,
yes,
even though there's free shipping. Mm-hmm. But here's what was really cool. Because I got a discount at the Coach store. So for those of you listening that want to pick up something, if it is your birthday that month, they will give you 10% off. So I've got to do the show and tell part here.
We assume that happens with everybody. So yeah, for those of you on YouTube, you're going to see this is what she calls the Chunky Chain purse.
This is Chunky Chain. Isn't she pretty? I love her so much. It also has a crossbody. For you husbands wanting to get something cute for your wife, go into the Coach store on your next trip. Little pro tip there.
What about staying out of the stores? That was your
I know. I've done this.
conflicting.
I've done this twice now. I got a Kate Spade one that was really cute. That was more Disney
I do
themed,
remember
and now I
that.
have Chunky Chain. Who knows what will be next?
Oh gosh. Okay. So then we went and we had sushi over at Splitsville, which is really, really, really good.
Really good. They had a new roll that we hadn't had.
It was
and
the crab rangoon
the
roll.
crab rangoon
Now,
roll.
I will say,
so good.
I do not care that they spelled it with a K.
No,
That
I don't
doesn't matter.
either.
It doesn't matter.
It was so good. And then it was off to a new experience for us at Disney, and that was the Cirque du Soleil Drawn to Life show. And this was mind-blowing what these people can do. We've been to several Cirque shows. This one, though, had a Disney theme to it, which I absolutely loved.
It was freaking awesome. But the best part, no cell phones allowed. It was like stepping back in time, I don't know, 15 plus years to see a venue with that many people in it, and nobody had their phone out.
It was so amazing.
Highly
And
recommend
yes.
it if you get a chance. And I would say, not if you get a chance, make it a point, make it one of your must-dos. We were sitting in the front row, which I think admittedly was a little bit too close. I think if you're up in, maybe 5 or 10 rows back, you'll get a more of a bigger picture view. But I mean, the characters, cast members, I don't know what you call it, the Cirque du Soleil. Epcotians, I don't know. But they were right in front of us, and the story was just, it was fun, and it was an incredible experience. So just because maybe you've seen a Cirque show and you haven't seen this one, go see this one again. It has the Disney theme to it.
And that's what I loved was the Disney theme was definitely there before. They didn't have it in the show prior. So something new to try if you've never been.
Yes. The one thing that has changed since we started putting our shows on YouTube is that we have more lead time, meaning we do them farther out. We used to do these sometimes on Saturday or Sunday before the Monday. And because we're doing video, we do them, a few more days in advance.
Yeah. And depending on our travel schedule, which has been crazy the last few months,
It has.
sometimes we're doing them even a little further out.
So let's do a little time travel back to when you could do your dining plans 180 days out, and you could do your fast pass like 60 days out.
Yeah. And that is a time warp. I mean, can you imagine doing dining 180 days now? I think 60 days is still a little ways out, but things have changed.
I think, I agree.
If you have a trip coming up to Walt Disney World anytime soon or in the future, and I say in the future because things can and will change, well, you're in luck because this week we are going to give you some of the highlights of what you need to know about the new Lightning Lane system. And here's something that I find fascinating is there were so many people online that were putting together their pro tips and all this stuff within like the first day or two.
Or 20 minutes, like the first. I know it hasn't opened yet, but here are our pro tips.
Yeah. And it was super crazy because things are going to change. And I always feel like the first few days and even the first week that things come out, it's not a true representation of it working in full force because right now it's a little slower because it's so hot in the parks. But we did go and test the system ourselves this past Sunday, and we're going to report back some things that we learned. And there is one thing in particular that you need to know about.
And one of the things to keep in mind is that this literally launched on Kerri's birthday on the 24th of July. Everybody at that time could get it. And so you kind of have to get past a few days to when the people that are 7 days out can get it, because you're staying on property versus 3 days out because you're a local like us and have an annual pass.
And I will say that staying on Disney property with the new Lightning Lane system is a massive advantage as opposed to staying off property.
It's a game changer, and I think something that's really needed as another advantage for people that are staying on resort property as opposed to staying off property. And I think if you're staying on property and you're an annual pass holder and all these different things, there should be a lot of benefits to doing that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the annual pass holders, if you're not staying on property, there is no benefit.
That is true. It was a hypothetical.
Hypothetical, I know.
So the new Lightning Lane system at Walt Disney World has replaced the Genie Plus service, introducing a more structured and user-friendly approach to booking attractions across all of the parks.
Yeah. So here's a breakdown of the key things you need to know and how to navigate the system effectively. So let's do a quick overview of exactly what the Lightning Lane system is.
It's not Lightning McQueen.
No.
So Lightning Lane refers to the expedited queue at attractions. It's the new name for the former Fast Pass queue. and is part of the Lightning Lane, the Multipass and Single Pass system.
Yeah, so there are two types of passes. The multi-pass is going to allow access to multiple attractions across all 4 parks for a single fee per person per day.
And that's what we did just a few days ago on Sunday. We're going to tell you about that. We did the Multipass. Now, the Single Pass allows access to one specific attraction at a time.
So it is going to cost you something, and the prices will vary because Disney knows if there is a surge, they're going to charge you more. So here's just some examples and hypotheticals because it is very similar to what the Genie Plus pricing was. So you can expect to pay for Magic Kingdom anywhere, I'm going to say from $27 to $35 per day per person plus tax.
Don't forget the tax.
Yeah, and then for Epcot, it could be anywhere from 19 to 23. Hollywood Studios is probably going to be 23 to 28. Animal Kingdom's going to be your best value at anywhere from probably 17 to 20. So during the peak times, you can expect to pay more. Plan to budget for it.
And of course, Magic Kingdom is always going to be more because there are so many more rides. But the highest price we've seen for Genie Plus was like $39, I think, during peak times. And similar pricing, I think, will be for the Multipass as well.
Yeah, just plan to budget for it, over budget, and then you'll be happy. So first, you have the Lightning Lane Multipass. And then second, you're going to have the Lightning Lane Single Pass. Now, the Single Pass is very similar to what was the individual Lightning Lane. And in fact, it is the exact same thing.
It's the same thing. They just renamed it so it sounded the same.
Yeah. And so you have over Animal Kingdom, you're going to have Flight of Passage. Over at Hollywood Studios, you'll have Rise of the Resistance. At Epcot, Guardians of the Galaxy. And over at Magic Kingdom, you have 2 attractions. You have Tron and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So all very, very good rides, but you will pay a separate fee for those, just like you did for individual Lightning Lane. The one thing that Rob and I observed about this was that all of those were gone when we went to purchase them, because Tron would have been fantastic for us to get, but it was gone.
It be gone.
Yeah, it was totally gone.
Yeah.
So plan on, number one, if you are doing 7 days out, I would get your multi-pass first and then do your individual one for that day.
Right.
Or if you have something that if getting on Rise of the Resistance is the most important thing to you and you don't have you're not really interested in some of the other rides over at Hollywood Studios, then maybe what I would do is just go ahead and get Rise for that day and don't worry about doing your multi-pass for that particular day. So everything needs to start at that first park. So just keep that in mind. If you are doing the Lightning Lane single, you can purchase up to 2. So it's not like you could do all 4 parks and do all of them. So there's a little limitation there, and the pricing is going to vary depending upon the ride and also the time of year.
So make sure you choose wisely. That's from one of the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah. So here are some of the key things you need to know about the multi-pass.
The multiverse.
Yeah. So the multi-pass, you can pre-select 3 attractions. So unlike Genie Plus, where you could only do it the day of at 7 o'clock in the morning, the multi-pass allows you to pre-select specific times for attractions, but it's not too specific because it's a little bit of a lottery on the time, but you get to pick 3 attractions, a tier 1 and a tier 2, which we will talk about in a little bit.
Exactly. So booking in advance, so resort guests can book up to 7 days in advance. Again, total game changer. As we mentioned, non-resort guests like us, annual pass holders, can book 3 days prior to their next park visit.
And what's cool is if you are staying on property, you can book for your entire vacation. But here's something that is very important. When it comes to that, you still can only purchase 1 day at a time. So what you'll do is, let's say you're arriving on Sunday and your first park day is on Monday. You can book Monday, Tuesday, and then maybe you have a day off, and then Thursday and Friday. You can do the whole week, but it's going to be 4 separate transactions. So hopefully they'll maybe clean that up. But for now, as of the airing of this, it is, you have to purchase day by day by day.
Which is that's kind of like what they did with Genie Plus. Is you used to be able to buy it for your whole trip, and then people said, "Oh, first day Genie Plus, I don't like ye. I'm going to go see the blue tent people." And
True.
And they would start canceling everything. So that's why they went to day of. This new system is going to fix that.
So one of the things that was really unique is when we tried it out, we did it 3 days before and we decided to do Magic Kingdom. When we went 3 days out to make our selections, you can see before you do a payment what attractions are available. In our case, at 3 days out, there were no tier 1 options available for us to choose from for our day at Magic Kingdom.
And I think the reason for that is we had to book 3 days out, which is a Friday, or technically Thursday, but we did it on a Friday. Everybody else was doing it on Wednesday.
Yeah. And so everybody had the jump on us. And so the nice thing is if you go in there and you're like, I'm not seeing what I want in my tier 1s, you can go ahead and just abort the mission and say, we're going to come up with something else. And then that way you don't need to worry about the non-refundable charges that are, basically by the time you purchase it, if you got in there and you're like, well, nothing I want is there. So I do like that they have that on there.
Absolutely. And, we weren't really going for the tier 1 or tier 2 rides. We really didn't care. We just wanted to make sure we knew how the system worked before we spoke publicly about it.
Yeah. Okay. So the next thing you need to know is what is the booking process? And this is where it can be super confusing. And a lot of the YouTubers and some of the videos that I've seen were not super clear about a couple things you need to know. So number one is if you are booking 7 days in advance or even 3 days in advance, one of the things you want to do is number one, make sure that everybody in your party is linked together in the My Disney Experience app. Super important.
And it's 7 a.m. on your booking day. Select the date and the park.
And then you choose up to 3 attractions, and then you confirm the times based on your itinerary. Again, this is for the Multipass or the Multipass. I called it multiple
pass. Either way, it's the same thing.
Yeah. And then it's as simple as you get your selections and then you just complete the payment to finalize the booking and then get on to the next day.
But make sure you go down and complete everything.
And the smartest thing you can do in advance is have a list of the top 3 attractions that you want to do. And you can choose 1 tier 1 and then 2 tier 2, but they have to be in the same park. Now, if you know you're going to be doing park hopping though, one of the things you can do is just choose that first one and don't worry about the other 2. You can do that later.
For example, you could book 1 ride at, let's say, Magic Kingdom, but you want to go to Hollywood Studios. Don't book all 3 at Magic Kingdom. Book the 1 there. Go clock in for that ride, scan your band. Then you can go ahead and take the other 2 selections at any other park you need.
Yeah. So one of the things that is really great that they did keep from Genie Plus is the ability to modify it after you've booked. So let's say you get your whole itinerary lined up for the week, and then you're like, you know what? I don't really like the time that we had Haunted Mansion. Well, you can always go into the app and hit modify and see if a better time may have popped up. Now, in our experience, we did try this over the weekend. We never saw better times pop up. And so I think that most people will keep their plans until the day of. So you're going to be pretty locked into what that schedule is going to be. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's super important. But if you are park hopping, let's say that you're at Animal Kingdom and you want to go on maybe Expedition Everest and you want to then just hop over to Magic Kingdom. Like Rob said, as soon as you tap into that first attraction, then you can go ahead and go get your additional attractions at any other park. You just have to make sure that you have a park hopper. The hard thing, though, is that keep in mind, most people are going to want to do the tier 1. So what we saw is all the tier 1s were gone for our day on Sunday at all of the parks. And that's why it's super, super important that you do book these out at that 7-day window.
Now, while you can book multiple attractions in a day, each attraction can only be booked once. But I think a lot of people were thinking, okay, I'm paying all this money. I'm only getting 3 attractions. No, it's similar to the stacking advice we gave our clients when you had the old Fast Pass system.
Yep.
As soon as you use the first one, then another one becomes available.
Yeah, so we were able to get about 7 different attractions on our day. Now, granted, a lot of these were tier 2 attractions, but we were doing
Some were
that
Tier,
strategically.
some were tier 3 or 4, like Barnstormer and Dumbo.
We did do those. Yeah. So let's talk about the tier system. And this is important to know. And if you have requested or downloaded our stress-free planning guide, you will know that we are way ahead of this new system because we always say, what are your 3 must-dos in each park? And there's a good chance you're going to have the tier 1s on there, and you're probably going to have some of the ones that are the Lightning Lane single passes. So the attractions are categorized into tiers, and the app makes it super, super easy. When you open it up, it immediately tells you which ones are tier 1 for the park and which ones are tier 2.
So keep in mind, you will, whenever you're going to go, before you do any of this stuff, make sure that your app is up to date.
100%. That's a great pro tip. So over at Magic Kingdom, here are your tier 1s. You have Tiana's Bayou Adventure and Space Mountain.
Over at Epcot, the tier 1 rides are Frozen Ever After and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
And at Hollywood Studios, tier 1 is still Slinky Dog Dash.
And M2R2.
And Mickey and Minnie's Runway Railway.
Over at Animal Kingdom, no tiers. You can choose any of the 3 attractions.
Yeah.
Any 3 of the attractions.
Which is kind of cool because you could do Expedition Everest and Safari and be good to go. So I love that. So here's kind of our recommendations if you are going to be booking those tier 1s. For Magic Kingdom, I would choose Tiana's Bayou, and then I would do Peter Pan's Flight and Jungle Cruise. One of the things we noticed was Peter Pan's Flight was gone off of our list, and Jungle Cruise, by the time we got to it a couple days before, the times were like 8 p.m.
And the other one I would recommend definitely for this park is also Skipper's Canteen.
That's not, you do not need a Lightning Lane for that.
Oh,
just a reservation.
Never mind. Over at Epcot, you've got Remy's Ratatouille Adventure and Frozen Ever After.
Yeah, those would be great. And at Hollywood Studios, I would do Slinky Dog Dash and Rock and Roller Coaster. And this is more based on if you're looking for like thrill rides. Now, if those are not in your top rides, then I 100% would not worry about doing those and stick to what your top 3 are.
Over at Animal Kingdom, Navi River Journey. Again, everybody knows it's not my favorite, but if you like it, knock yourself out. But one of my favorites is the Kilimanjaro Safaris.
And one of the reasons why, because that's not our favorite ride, but one of the reasons why I think that that one works is because a lot of people may not be picking that. So you can grab it and get an early time, which means that as soon as you clock into that first ride, you can open up your app and grab your next one while you're waiting in line. And that's one of the things that is something you can do. And you just, after you do it the first day, you will be a star. I remember we ended up doing virtual queue for Tiana's. We used our own advice that we talked about last week, which is if you get a low number, take it. If it's a high number, you may want to do something else. And for that particular one, right after we headed on over to Barnstormer, as soon as we tapped in, we opened up the app and we were able to grab our next one, which happened to be Dumbo, which was right next door. And then as soon as we tapped into Dumbo, then we grabbed Ariel's. Now, I know these aren't like big deal rides, but it helped us work our way around Fantasyland. And we got all of those in very quickly in the morning.
Our goal here was not the individual rides, but it was how many can we get in? And probably at both Dumbo's and Barnstormer, it saved us maybe 5 minutes each. But the whole idea, always get front row for Barnstormer.
That's your pro tip this week?
That is my pro tip.
Okay, fair enough. Now, when you do make your selections, both before and especially when in the parks, there is one step that is very hidden. And so this is something that the first time I did it, I kind of got messed up. When you go to make that second selection, what's going to happen is it's going to go ahead, it'll show you the time, and then it adds it to your list. And so you're going to see 3 different attractions and you're going to go, awesome. You think you're done because...
But you're not.
I know. It's just not super obvious because you see it in the list. And then if you don't scroll all the way down, you will never see this little magical button that says continue. This is going to mess a lot of guests up. So don't let that be you. Make sure you've continued all the way through. Super, super important.
This new system does not have to be complicated. One thing you want to keep in mind, where the rides are that you're choosing, which is why we did Dumbo right after Barnstormer and Ariel's right after that, because we knew we were walking right from one to the other. You don't want to do like I don't know, you're on one side of the park
Barnstormer to Pirates, back to Ariel.
to Buzz Lightyear.
To Buzz Lightyear. Yeah, you'll bounce all
Exactly.
over the place. But I love the new system. I highly recommend it, especially if you're going to be down there when it is a busy season. This is designed to help you have a better guest experience. And I do think with some strategic planning, knowing your top 3 rides, they do give you a 5-minute window to secure and hit that continue button. So make sure you pay attention. But if you just a little bit about, I'm going to be paying extra, how that booking process works, and what those tiers are, you will be able to maximize your time in the parks and enjoy your favorite rides. So definitely download our stress-free planning guide. You can just go to howtododisney.com. It's a free thing that's going to help you identify what are your must-dos in each park. And just having that as a general game plan before you go on, identify which are your tier 1s, your tier 2s. And I think this will not be as scary as some of the videos I've seen online make it seem like it's so complicated.
Yeah, we saw one thing, it was like a 90-minute explanation.
It was crazy. I've seen some of the YouTube videos and I was like, I don't even understand some of these.
The key here is that, as we've always said forever since we started this, is time is money. So yeah, maybe you'll spend 20 or 30 bucks a person, but if you can get in, 3, 4, 5, 6 more rides, I think that's worth it.
Yeah, definitely makes a difference. And if this is all still so complicated and you want somebody to hold your hand and walk you through the entire process, definitely reach out to us or to one of our Creating Magic Vacations travel advisors. We can make sure that the plan you have for grabbing those Lightning Lane Multipass and the single pass will be very, very effective.
Again, thanks for listening.
Or watching if
Watching
you're on YouTube.
Yes,
Yeah.
on YouTube as well. Always remember this: travel is better with friends. Until next time, have a magical day.
We hope to see you real soon.